How's it, guys? Today I'm just gonna be making a video. I'm planning on doing like a little playlist for my YouTube. Well, not that I have one. It's just for me and whoever wants to watch how exactly I trade, what I look for on a daily basis, and just how I trade specific days, profiles, etc. And yeah, so I'm not gonna do any cuts or anything. I'm just gonna do it one shot. I don't know how long it's gonna be. Probably gonna try to keep it under an hour. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing a playlist just with the specific concepts and yeah, just everything that I use to trade and like how I think about it and the exact process I go through. So I've already written everything out here that I want to cover in this video. So yeah, so let's look for it. Yeah. Okay, so narrative, for me, the most important by far on the day. This is like if my narrative doesn't match my entry, or my entry doesn't match my narrative, I don't take it, no matter how clean it looks. But yeah, it's just a rule that I have with my trading, and obviously I stick to my rules. And yeah, so this is my most important thing. That's why I put it first. So without wasting time, let's go through it. So with the daily profile, okay. So obviously the daily candle opens at 1800, which is I don't know the exact time, South African Standard Time, but 1800 the new daily candle forms, okay. And my ideal sequence that I look for on the daily profile, the weekly profile, and the 4-hour profile is a simple accumulation into a key area distribution. Okay? That is all I look for, right? And here is our PDRA, or higher time frame point of interest, which I look for to trade into. Okay? And this would be for specific candles, but mainly for the daily. If I'm looking to trade the reversal, I will look for something like this. Say I'll look for something like this, where there's a SMT here, SMT with a PSP. Okay, that's what I look for. And then somewhere in here will be my entry trigger, okay, which is a standard change of the state of delivery. Simply like that. Look, so this sequence is what I'm looking for on the daily profile, the 4-hour profile, and the weekly profile. Okay. Now, obviously, it doesn't look exactly like this because we know that the algorithm doesn't print some. I will rarely print something that looks exactly like this, but the important thing is recognizing the sequence. Okay, the sequence is this. Let's write it down here. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. Sorry if I'm a bad typer. Don't type that much. That's our ideal sequence that we look for on the profiles. Okay. And Next episode, I'll go more into depth about our cracks in correlation. So I believe I have 3 of them that I really look at, and that basically says whether I take the trade or not as well. You'll see once I'm fully done explaining the sequence that I trade, you'll see how everything lines up into each other and how wonderful it works. And if you're to put it plain and simple, if you're expecting an 80% win rate, it's obviously possible, depending on the RR, which is something realistic. If we look at my backtesting, this is just, I believe this is 2025 March to 2025 July so far, simulating 3 fundeds. So if we can see here, go to dashboard. I've got a 68% win rate, almost 68 and a half, and my day wins, day win is essentially what day, how many days you win compared to days you lost. So it's 77% of winning days, which is not bad. And obviously this is simulating 50k funded or 150k funded account, just with a 50k balance. I was too lazy to change it, but I'm risking $1,500 per trade, and yeah, I normally just go for a fixed 1 to 2 risk. And yeah, if we want to look at my win rate for the months, halfway through July currently, obviously each month is different. You can expect something different from each month, but yeah, the most important thing is having data for yourself. And this is just a new TradeZella account, so I haven't got everything that I had before, but I'm just trying to build it through, trying to get better each day, as you know. So yeah, so back to the teaching. As you can see, everything, it works, and you just need to know how to apply it. And yeah, that's what I'm here to teach. So as we go through it, you'll learn, you'll take notes, and it's very important that you go through it and look at it every day in your charts, because you want to become better. Now, as we go into valid swings, okay? So as it says here, reversal sequence, we need 2-stage SMT, which I'll go more in depth next video. But essentially, we'll be looking for something like this. Okay, daily profile opens higher. Okay, let's actually get rid of this. Let's do it. Okay, here's our very ugly looking accumulation. Okay, this is typically from 1800 all the way to 3 a.m. So 1800 to 03 a.m. Okay, so this is our sequence. Okay, 1800 to 3 a.m. So this is our accumulation phase on the daily profile. Okay, once 3 a.m. hits, okay, once 3 a.m. hits, we could expect or 2 a.m. Sorry, I just got the session hours mixed up. So it's 2 a.m. Sorry about that. It's 2 a.m. not 3 a.m. Sorry, I didn't trade London session, so I just couldn't remember for a second. Once that happens, you see price accumulates. You'll often see on a classic daily profile, you'll see London manipulate. Okay, you'll see London manipulate and maybe start distributing. Okay, and this time is 2 a.m. 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Okay, this is a classic, I think, protraction, classic accumulation, manipulation, distribution amongst the sessions. And once we start getting into pre-New York AM, we'll see something like this. Often we'll see price start distributing like this, right? So first stage distribution, okay? First stage distribution, that will be from, let's get it here. This will, just put it here. This will be from 06, right, all the way to 8:30, depending on the day. Okay, 8:30. Okay, pre-New York. Well, so this is pre-New York, right? Pre-New York. Okay. Then once New York hits, we'll see something like this. We'll see something like this. Okay, let me just find it here. We'll see New York either do this, right? Come back into the change in state of delivery and then start distributing. Okay, that's a 1. Or another sequence we could see, let me just draw it out here. Or we could see pre-New York, right? We could see pre-New York come in here, right? Take the PD array already before New York Open. And at New York Open, we'll see something like this. Bang, just go. Okay? So, let me just put that back. So, let's color coordinate it here, okay? So we got this, right? Which is Asia, which is in yellow. Okay. Then we'll have London, we'll have in red. Okay, we already have red. Okay. We'll have it in blue. Asia and New York close will accumulate. London will manipulate, and pre-New York will often distribute, right? Then we got New York AM, where New York AM will manipulate into that PD array and distribute, right? Which is in purple, okay? So that's the sequence we look for. The ideal sequence, as we call it. Classic accumulation, manipulation, distribution, classic sell profile, right? And obviously it's vice versa for the buy profile. So if we put this is currently in a daily profile, right? But what we could do is we could put this in the weekly profile as well. Okay? But before that, we've only gotten to New York AM, right? New York also has a PM. So with New York PM, we could expect something like this: retracement, distribute, or we could just expect reversal, right? So those are the two outcomes of New York PM. I didn't trade it, so I'm not going very in depth of it, but you could expect a continuation or reversal, depending on where the higher time frame is leading. Okay, and what PD arrays get hit. But, excuse me, if we're looking at a weekly profile, we could look at something like this, where the accumulation, right, where the accumulation phase could be Sunday to Monday, okay? Sunday to Monday, right? Then we could see the manipulation happening on Tuesday, right? Then we can see Wednesday continue, or first distribution, Wednesday, first distribution, and Thursday, right? Thursday distribution. Well, oh yeah, let me just write Thursday. And obviously Friday is obviously continuation, or sorry, on to the next chart. Sorry about that. Or Friday is obviously just, now where's this now? Yeah. And Friday is obviously just continuation, or reversal. Okay, simple. This is the backbone of what you're looking for. AMD. Okay, very simple stuff, right? Once again, sorry, this is not very beginner friendly, if you want to call it. It's simple ICT concepts, but if you're walking into a chart for the first time, you're not necessarily gonna grasp it first time, if that makes sense. Okay, so we've gotten all of our profiles, right? All of our profiles are done because price is fractal. They're all the same. If you want to understand the 4-hour fractal, you could expect something like this. The same sequence, the exact same. Right? Let me just make it more of an accumulation. Manipulation. Oh, that looks very ugly. So let me just make it better. Same accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Simple. Okay. Simple, same thing, right? But this will be probably the first 20-30 minutes of the candle. This will be the next 20-30 minutes. So then you're an hour and a half down. Then you get your first distribution, which will take up another hour. Retracement 30 minutes, then continuation or reversal, which ends up being your 4 hours. Right, simple times fractal, same as all the other profiles that are explained now. So, moving on, right? How do I think, or how do I know whether price is going to be bullish for the day or bearish? Okay, so let's combine our profile with our sequences, our reversal sequence and our continuation. Okay, so let's explain this here. Let's draw that same accumulation, manipulation, distribution, right? So there's our sequence, as you know, it's probably whatever. Right. Say we are also in a 4-hour fair value gap on the daily time frame. Right? Here's our 4-hour fair value gap on the daily time frame. Price taps into it in London session. Okay? London session taps into our daily fair value gap. Okay? Okay, I'm just going to do 2 examples here, okay? Because I need to show for 2 different charts, okay? The 4-hour fair value gap. This is what you'll see. You'll see it every day, not necessarily on the 4-hour, but you'll see it form every single day. The same sequence, just on different time frames, okay? Next episode, or the next 2 episodes, I'll get into the ideal sequence and time frame alignment. But this is just the backbone and the foundation of what you need to understand. Okay, so moving on, we see one asset trade into this 4-hour fair value gap, as you can see here, right? Let me just highlight it there, but then we'll see another asset do this. We'll see the other asset do this. Right? We'll see the other asset fail to go into this 4-hour fair value gap. Okay? Or PD array, let's call it. We'll see it fail, right? And here's the accumulation high. This, right? This, wait, you can't see that really. Let's go with orange, and let's increase the opacity. That there and that there, right? These are the exact same highs, but you can see price doesn't take this high. Price doesn't take, but here price does. Okay, this is called the Kraken correlation, also known as SMT. Okay, as I explained to you, if we want to trade a reversal, where is it now? If we want to trade a reversal, okay, we need two stage. So if we see here, here's one Kraken correlation SMT, okay? However, that's only one, and we need two, okay? Because we're trying to trade a reversal. Especially if we're trying to trade a reversal on the lower time frame, because this is a 4-hour fair value gap. So technically, it's a continuation form of the reversal, but because we want a lower time frame, I like to look for two stage. Okay, so here's our one stage SMT of our normal. One fails to take the high, one takes the high into the high time from PD array. Okay, now we would need another stage of SMT, which will form either two-stage SMT or PSP. By two-stage, I mean like consecutive candle SMT. So what I look for is one candle will take the high here. One candle will just trade a bit higher, while the other one doesn't. Okay, so it will look something like this. Okay, don't mind this move down, because this is basically saying that this price has taken the higher and then distributes, while this price will not take this high again, if that makes sense. As I said, if you don't understand it, I'm going to get more in depth the next video, where I'll explain it in such a way that you will understand it so clearly, because even here I have so many examples of everything, right? So if you need me to send this to you before the next video so you have it as well, because I'm going to be referencing to this, you just send me a message. I'll just put my Instagram handle in the description if you want it, and you just message me and then I'll send you this. Okay, this can be as your notebook for the next video to come. This here shows every single SMT or sequence that I look at, and with examples of it. So as you can see, I've got quite a couple examples, but this is only like recent of the last, I want to say, month, right? All these examples. So as you can see, it happens very often. Okay, and as time goes on, I'll keep on referring back to this Figma project, and you'll see that just how much it actually occurs and how well the sequence performs if you understand it. Okay, so getting back to this, as we will see, the one takes the high here, while the other one doesn't. Okay, that will form our second stage of PSP. Second stage of SMT, which will allow us to enter wherever we get our change in the state of delivery, whether it's here or it could be all the way up here. It just depends on the chart. Okay, so basically what we are looking for, if we want to determine our daily like candle, whether price is going to be bullish, bearish, we will look for that profile sequence, right, as I explained, where price basically accumulate, manipulate, distributes. And I'll see if I can get some examples here on the chart for you quickly, and then we'll just wrap the video up. If I can find the, yeah, okay, we can even see it here, right, on the daily time frame, or the 4 hours, sorry. If you just look at the bigger picture, we'll see price, obviously accumulation, price is stuck in a box here, obviously, right? Not until we break it with this manipulation move, right? Oh, no, sorry. Manipulation, and then we get our distribution, our 2 stages actually as well. So let me show you here. There's one. There's our first stage of distribution. Then we get our retracement that I showed, right? Let's go gray. And then we get our second distribution down. Okay. Now let's see if our days also play out with the Tuesday being the high of the week. Well, this is obviously slightly more than a week, but because it's a daily, the weekly time frame. The 4 hour time frame is the monthly power of 3 for me, or the ideal sequence. So if we look here, when does this like accumulation kind of form? Friday, the 8th of May. Okay. Let me just find my thing here. As we can see, it won't happen each week the same, but we'll see a Thursday, 7th of May. Okay. So the first week of the month, the first 10 days, from what I've backtested, is typically the range, right? The accumulation range. And then going on, we accumulate, right? We accumulate, then we manipulate, and then we distribute. Okay. As we can see here, this is not the most volatile moves, because there's a lot of retracements and etc. Just retracements for this manipulation, which causes it to be a lot longer of a sequence compared to just quick moves. If I can find some here. Here, as you can see, price manipulates a lot quicker, right? If we look for the same sequence here, as you can see, price is not really, apart from here where there's a decent distribution, as we can see in this box here, right? Price doesn't really move much, right? Until we get a quick move down with lots of displacement, probably in a PD array somewhere here, right? We get a lot of displacement, right? Fair value gaps, gaps just in general, which allows us to now distribute up for our last phase, right? Our first stage distribution. And now, as we can see, it's a very long distribution. The yearly accumulation manipulation distribution. Now we got our retracement, right? As I said, retracement, and now distribution, right? So I wanna show you guys this quickly to just reinforce the accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Okay, I want you guys to be so tired of me saying accumulation, manipulation, and distribution that you guys are like just going to be so sick of it and wanting to turn the video off, right? So if we look here, okay, let's get my highlighter. You can see here, it's not going to be perfect, obviously, right? Our accumulation, okay? Then our next phase, manipulation. Okay, so yellow is fine. And now, distribution. Okay. You see how it plays out. Now, I don't have to look, but as we can see, there's just so many like lows, right? As you can see, there's so many just lows. So you know, lows are liquidity. Price takes out so many lows for the manipulation before we distribute. Okay. So if we look at the sequence I showed you over here, does that not look exactly what I'm like highlighting here now? If we put these together, right, it looks exactly. Let's make it a bit more in depth here. There's our PD array. Chances are it's somewhere here, okay, on the higher time frame. So we can see that it looks exactly the same. Now this happens this is happening on a yearly scale, right? This move is happening throughout like last year Q4, and this year is most likely the whole year. Okay, so you can see it's right there in front of us. Okay, this exact sequence for the daily. Okay, now we put that into the 4-hour. Okay, as I told you, the sequences are fractal. So what happens on the daily will happen on the 4-hour. What happens on the 4-hour, 1 hour. What happens on the 1 hour, 30-minute, goes all the way until the second. You know, the second candle, like a second per candle. So if we take that into consideration, right, we look for accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. Simple as that. Okay. So let's look into it. So let's go into a replay here. I'm just gonna choose. Don't even know what I want to choose. Let's do this day. Okay. I'm gonna disclaim that it doesn't happen every single day. You'll get some days where there will be no accumulation and price just distributes, right? Or manipulates and distributes, which I'll get to after the key foundations are set and I've explained. Okay, so that will come a bit later on, but as of right now, I'm just trying to teach the fundamentals and the basics, which you need in order to understand the following concepts that I'm gonna explain, get more in depth as we go on, kind of like a boot camp type of deal. So yeah, so as you can see, we're gonna look for 1800, right? 1800. Okay, 1800 opens lower, but as you can see, I have a feeling this was the beginning of this week. Okay, so I have a feeling we're gonna see a double purge before we move on, because the day just opens lower, right? So we can expect this candle to be hit here, right? We can expect this to be hit just because the day opens lower, and accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Okay, we can expect that. Okay, so let's see if we can find that sequence here. So we already have two of them. Okay, so let's see here. We have our accumulation. As we can see, price is just stuck in this box. If that makes you understand that it's stuck in a box essentially. Okay, then we have a manipulation on the daily open. Okay, on the daily open candle. Okay, so we got that. Now if we want to carry out our third phase, we'd be looking for distribution. Now I'm not going to go on the higher time frame now, but actually let's just do it to make it simple. Okay, so there's actually nothing here. Okay, but we have here, we have a gap. Okay, as I explained, I'm going to show you the gap here. Okay, so we have that. Now we have 3 of our 4 things. Okay, now what do we expect? We expect price to return to these highs, because that's just part of our sequence. Okay, so let's see what price does. We've also got a order block, propulsion block that we set there. So okay, price starts distributing. See, okay, we create equal lows. Okay, not equal lows, it actually taps out. So this is another good example that when I explained, I don't know if I did actually, where not everything is 100% perfect. Okay, because what we would expect from our sequence is accumulation, manipulation, distribution, but we got more of a retracement to take out the low, right? Smacks it here. But if I were to guess, there would be SMT, right? There would be SMT, which we need, right? So let's see if we do. We do. Okay, right here. Now let's see, does that line up? Okay, yes it does. Okay, so we have our SMT, right? But we need one more stage in order to trade. Okay, let's see. So I'm going to see if we have a PSP here. It's another form of cracking correlation. So 2100 closes as a bearish candle. Closes as a bearish candle. But here it closes as a bullish candle on YM. Okay, so we see, okay, PSP, okay, which is obviously another form of cracking correlation we have. So right here, okay, right there, there's our PSP. I can get rid of this now. So as I said, we have our 2 stages of SMT for our cracking correlation. If I can find it here, I don't know if it will be on because I'm there we go. We need 2 stages. So let's see here. Oh, one's super small. Okay, sorry about this. Oh, my fingers. Okay, close. We got a normal SMT and a PSP, right? So now what we can expect, we can go on the 3-minute, where we can look for a change in the state of delivery, okay, which we get over here. Now I don't typically trade this time, so I'm not too sure how these like times play out, what's like the win percentage or anything like that. But yeah, so let's just go for it and see what happens. We would have entered here, right, depending on when the candle closed. Let's see, 21.15. Yeah, so we would have entered there targeting our highs over here, right? So just accumulation, manipulation, distribution, and you target the accumulation highs, which are right here at 12.24. Okay, so there's a 3.7 R trade. Let's see how it works out. I was not on at the charts at this time, so let's see. So we'll see how it plays out. So you can see prices accumulating because it's still at a bad time. It's not a very like volatile time. So as we can see, prices kind of just chopping around a lot. But as we can see, it starts moving around midnight. So let's keep on playing on and let's see what happens. I'm just gonna go on the high time frame to see, so I can just go quicker. Because as we can see, there's a lot of chop. There's not a lot of volatility, as I said, at this time. Because remember, from 1800 to 1800 to 3 a.m., 2 a.m. sorry, is a very slow consolidation type of time. But however, our sequence kind of happened in this time on a lower time frame, right? So you can take it if you're on at the charts at this time, but I personally wouldn't take something like this just because of the time. There's not a lot of volatility injected into the market at this time because obviously New York is the largest volatility drop, or sorry, largest volatility impact in the market. So that is from I normally trade from 3 o'clock SAST, which is 9 o'clock New York time, to around 12 New York time. Just depends. Yeah, it depends. I might finish earlier. Depends on my trading day. If I enter a trade and I'm done at 9:30, I'm just off for the day. But yeah, so let's just keep on playing. We can see price hits, right? Price hits our target. There we go. There's 3.7 odd just in your account now. But as we can see, right, as the sequence I told you, the classic sequence looks like it's playing out currently, right? We can see on the daily sequence, we can see there's accumulation. Let me just remove everything. On the daily sequence, there is accumulation, right? Let me just upgrade the box here as well. There's accumulation, manipulation, right? Now what we can expect is obviously distribution, okay? I'm guessing there might be SMT here as well, which we would also need, so let's see if there's something there. But if there isn't, that's fine. We just won't trade it. Simple, okay? We have our hands under us, and we simply just wait, okay? So let's see. Okay, great. We do. See, same times. So you see there's our SMT here. I'm not going to put it perfect, but you can see obviously takes the high, the other one doesn't. So we got our SMT, but I would typically look on a higher time frame if we have anything else. But yeah, so you can see we're going to look for like a PSP or 2-stage. So as we can see here, this closes bullish, right? But this one closes bearish on 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock closes bullish, sorry, right? So we can see that there's a PSP as well, okay? Sorry if you can just hear the background. But yeah, so we have a PSP because over here closes bearish. 4 o'clock closes bearish on YM, but it closes bullish on NASDAQ, right? But in this case, there's something different I'll discuss, which is NASDAQ is the lagging asset while YM is the leading asset, right? But for the sake of this video, I'll just what's it called? Just leave it for now and see if we can look for entry, right? So let me just go back here if I can. As I go here, we see there's a change in the state of delivery, right? So we got our 2-stage where YM closes bearish, but NQ closes bullish, right? So, oh, just went too far now. Right? So we'll see something here. We get another change in the state of delivery, right? Don't worry about this right now. I'll explain it to you. And you'll have everything that you need in order to start trading, right? So as we get our change in the state of delivery, we just put it at the high. And we target the consolidation low, right? So we target the consolidation low, right? 2.39. So let's see if it works out. And yeah, right now we just finished London session, right? So what can we expect? We can expect something like this. Bang, 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 right? We can expect something like that. So let's see if it plays out like that, okay? Play. Okay. So looks like we get stopped out. Unfortunate. Followed our rules. So let's see if it still plays out, okay? Unfortunately, we get stopped out. Price runs straight to take profit, okay? You don't trip over this. It's part of the game. And if you would like, you would probably need to look for another like SMT here, and then look to take something over here. Oh, but I know what happened here. Look at this. Look at these closing candles. If I were to guess, it's probably a high impact news driver somewhere here, right? Because these candles just are not normal. But yeah, so price plays out. Just got unlucky with the entry. But as you can see, you could have probably entered over here a limits order on the change of state of delivery, the second one, the newest one, where you trade this fair value gap, or you just enter at the fair value gap or the change in state of delivery. Yeah, but as I said, I don't trade like London, Asia. I just trade from New York. So I trade from 9 o'clock all the way to 12 o'clock around there. So let's see if anything would have played out there. Okay. So as we can see, if I go on the lower time frame, right, we'll see something like this. I don't even have to go on it to show, because you can just see it there. You can see these candles, right? Just like you can see, like it's not really moving in one direction. You know what I mean? Like it's just like in a block, if you want to put it that way. So let's go on the lower time frame. Yeah, you see. So we're in a block, right? We're in a block. Where does 9 o'clock hit? 9 o'clock is right here, okay? Where those dots are. 9 o'clock, but we consolidate still until we get a manipulation, right? We get a manipulation. Where does it manipulate into? It manipulates straight into our change in the state of delivery, both of them actually order blocks, and as well as a fair value gap, right? So once that happens, we can expect accumulation. Sorry, this looks very ugly, but it's fine. Accumulation, manipulation, and we can expect now a distribution, right? So we expect that. Let me just find this thing here. Okay. We expect distribution and we get it. Okay. But if we also look here, what do we have? We still have our original consolidation here, right? Oh, that's not really consolidation anymore, because this is more manipulation. Manipulates, distributes, right? So let me just clean everything up here and you can get a better view. It's just getting a bit messy for my liking. Okay. Oh my word. Okay. So as we can see here, I'm guessing there's SMT there. I'm not too sure, so we'll see. Yeah, there is, but I think, yeah, I don't have time for that now because I'm just trying to teach you guys. But so we got this here. All right, our box accumulation. Price is not distributing anywhere really, no one real direction. It's just taking highs and lows, right? Then we have a manipulation where it starts here, manipulation, right? Then we get our distribution, our first leg distribution, right? Let me just make it more of a distinguishing color. And then we got our retracement, which we would have traded here, right? Where I explained it earlier. And then we distribute again lower. Now, as we can see, it just follows our sequence, right? Follows our sequence. And yeah, so as we can see, price does do that. And it happens every day on every candle, right? Just it doesn't look exactly like this. We'll find different forms of it, right? Which I'll get into. As I said, we're just trying to teach the basics here. And next episode or video, I don't know why I keep saying episode. Next video, I'll get into the deeper stuff. But if you have any questions, just leave it in the comments. If you want, you can ask me for suggestions, or if you want to start learning more of the basics, like the concepts, you just send me a message on Instagram, and I'll just reply to you. I'll tell you where to start. But if you kind of have a decent knowledge of trading, I would say just message me. I'm planning on starting like a Discord or something where we can all like chat and trade together, where we can also hold each other accountable now, because I've been trading for a minute and I would like to say I've got my ducks in a row. So if you need advice, like psychology wise and that, etc., you can just send me a message, and yeah, I'll put my Instagram in the Discord. Sorry, I'll put my Instagram in the bio or description, and I will answer whatever questions you guys need. If you guys also have other questions or would like to know what the next video is about, I'll be going over cracks and correlation, right? Correlation. I'll be going over cracks and correlation. Then I'll be going over entry, right? Entry technique. Then I'll be going over, what else? Time frame alignment. So next video is probably going to be a long one. Alignment, right? Then I'll be going over, let's go over one more thing. What's most important? And I'll be going over strength switching, right? If you guys want to just search on YouTube what this stuff is about, you guys can just get an understanding of it. And yeah, then I'll teach it to you guys. As I said, I'm not really here to overcomplicate things in the beginning, but I will be gradually going into deeper territory while teaching you guys. Once you guys are confident and everything, you guys just let me know, speak to me. I'll reply to every one of you with questions, and yeah, you must just talk to me, and I'm here to help you. But one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to give signals whether to buy or sell, because that falls under financial advice. All I'm here to do is teach you concepts and help with psychology, etc. I'm just trying to help out. because I want to be the person that is, I want to be the person that I needed when I first started out, if that makes sense. So I'm just doing this to help, and yeah, just hope everybody has a great day, great night, wherever you are, and yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next.